Hi guys, welcome to the channel. I hope all of you could see us and hear us today. My name is Niladri Mukherjee and I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. I practice here in Guelph, Ontario, but today I'm not in Guelph, Ontario. I'm sitting with a friend of mine, with actually a very good friend of mine here in Burlington. It's a beautiful part of GTA, those that you're not aware of. And so the context is, so first of all, welcome Gaurav. Thank you for being on the show. His name is
Problem.
Gaurav.
Thanks. Hi, everyone.
And so the context is Gaurav, like whenever we just talk about immigration, the first thing that comes on people's mind is to, well, fine, Canada is a nice country, everything is like way better there, but what is the probability that I will get my job there, right? Like I leave everything behind, my job, my career, like everything else.
Yep.
So what is the probability that I will get the job there, maybe within the next couple of months or weeks, or is it going to take years? As a context, I know the topic of the video says it a lot, but he has moved to Canada from India, uh, uh, a few years back. But within the first few months of his arrival, he has got a kind of job offer that all of us aspire to, right? So I would talk to him in detail to try to understand what are the strategies that he kind of used, what really did work for him, what really did not work
Yep.
for him, and if he had to do the things today, what could he have done differently? So
Okay.
Gaurav, please tell me, like, what did you exactly do to get your first job?
Okay. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Just to give a little brief, I came here around 5 years back now, and when we came here, the first thing, obviously, like everyone else, was okay, what to do. So the way we started is, or the way specifically I started is, I kind of held my ground. So that means I didn't jump into ad hoc jobs. I focused my time initially to build my resume, build cover letters and everything that kind of fits right into what employers need. So I spent like initial 2 months curating my resume to a point wherein I focused on my expertise
Mm-hmm.
rather than going into a generalistic view wherein more or
Mm-hmm.
less like, okay, I can do that, so I
Mm-hmm.
kind of stick to my ground. Okay, this is what I can do,
Mm-hmm.
and I stayed with that.
Okay.
And that's how I applied for all the jobs and all the opportunities that came along.
Okay. So did you start the process after you land in Canada, or have you started the process after receiving your COPR while you're back in India?
Oh no, I started absolutely once I was here, once I was
Okay.
kind of settled as in you are here, then
Okay.
you have a place to stay, then you jump into, because the way it works is whenever an opportunity opens,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be there.
Okay.
You have to be there in
Right.
person.
Right.
You cannot start a process when you're outside, and then if you're called in for an in-person interview, which
Mm-hmm.
by the way happens in every single case,
Correct.
then in that case you are not there. So that kind of gives a negative impression about your
Impression that you are
profile.
not.
Yeah.
So at this point in time, Gaurav, when I would imagine the mindset of the employers might have changed due to COVID, these days also they gave that much importance for the in-person interviews.
I think it's a little bit of mix now, depending upon what kind of employer you're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of employers have gone completely offline, as in
Right.
everything is through computers.
Sure.
There is no in person. Even the offices are not in person
Right.
now. But what they need is, for example, if in case you say, okay, I'm Canadian, I'm on a PR, so
Mm-hmm.
they will obviously ask you whether you're in Canada yet or
Right.
not.
Right.
So
Right.
you cannot say yes, you're in Canada if you're not.
If not in Canada.
So
Right.
you have to be true to what you are talking.
Right.
So the idea is, if you're here, even if it's online, try to do at that time. If you want to start a process, be candid. Okay, that I will be in Canada a couple of months down the line or a
Mm-hmm.
couple of weeks down the line,
Okay.
but I have a PR. That means I am open to work with any
And
employer.
legally eligible to work as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So, guys, if you want to note it down, the first point that you mentioned was that he did not land in an odd job like in Tim Hortons or McDee's, right? He did not do that. He took his time to curate his CV, to perfect his cover letter, and focused on very specific employers that he needed to work for or aspired to work for. So, if I could summarize at least this portion, the focus strategy is something that worked from him,
Yeah.
right? Now, the second part is Gaurav. For example, I'm sure you were doing quite well back home.
Mhm.
So, when somebody asks you here in Canada, particularly your first employer,
Yeah.
that what is your expectation in terms of salary? So should you keep it open or should you just quote a specific number? How does
So,
that work?
so it works a little different here. So more or less, I think that question might not come to you directly.
Right. Okay.
That question is because every job opportunity that opens with an employer,
Mhm.
opens with a particular salary band, and they stay within that salary band.
Okay.
So what I went with is like whatever that salary band
Okay.
comes in. So if it's like let's say 60,000,
Sure.
70,000, so I was quite open about it.
Okay.
That I don't have a number in mind,
Okay.
but whatever number you offer this job at,
Okay.
I'm comfortable with.
Okay. All
So
right.
not to be stringent,
Right.
just to be open about
Open
it
about
and
it.
go with the flow.
Okay. So guys, it's a good idea to, like, wherever you apply the job from, right? It's Indeed, Monster, LinkedIn, or any other forum. Take a look at the salary band that's been
Yeah.
mentioned there, right? They would
Exactly.
always mention like a broader range.
Yeah.
There may be a like a 20,000 kind of a buffer, or maybe sometimes a 40,000 kind of buffer,
Yeah,
right?
it's like so as the number goes higher, the buffer increases.
Buffer increases, right?
Yeah. Usually it's right around 5 to 7K is,
Okay.
is the range
Okay.
because the intention there is, and I think this might help everyone as well,
Mhm.
that they want to hire you at a band which is kind of, let's say, if it's between 80 and 90, they want to hire you closer to 80 so
Okay.
that for next 2 years you are still in the band
Okay.
when they give you raises. So
Okay.
that's more or less
Got
like,
it.
so
Got
the
it.
band is their salary band for next 2 to 3 years.
2 to 3. This is a very good point, guys. You want to take a note of it, because if you're negotiating salary, I know a lot of you would be saying, well, I would be okay with anything and everything that you can offer, particularly as your first job. But I think this is a point that you would want to make a note of, that the band is important. And if you're to negotiate salary or to quote a number, if you want to go for that phase,
Stay
then,
within the band.
then definitely stay within the band.
Yeah.
All right. So, Gaurav, tell me one thing. So what is the interview process that had been like followed in your specific case?
Okay, so usually there are a couple of rounds. When
Mhm.
I say couple, it's much more than what's it's in India.
Okay.
First of all, your resume or your cover letter has to qualify.
Okay.
When I say qualify, the way it works is it's matched directly to the job description.
Okay.
So read the job description properly. There are certain keywords that you're looking for.
Sure.
If your resume doesn't have a keyword,
Right.
your resume doesn't follow the criteria and you will not be called for an interview.
Got it.
So you need to ensure what keywords are in there. Usually keywords are like normal work that you
Sure.
use. For example, I'll take my background. So I'm from the digital world. So digital keywords are specific. So if you follow those keywords, match them directly to what's in the job description. You might have written the same thing in a different way.
Sure.
Just change the way it's written.
All right.
And it follows the job description. In that case, it ensures because they use softwares to pick up the resumes.
Got it.
So in that case, it will ensure that your resume is picked up.
Mhm.
That's for one. And a resume is more or less generic in nature. It kind
Sure.
of talks about what your expertise is.
Mhm.
But then cover letter is very specific to that.
Oh,
job
to
description.
that very specific job. Okay.
So you need to ensure your cover letter is talking about, okay,
Sure.
I want this job, not an XYZ
Correct.
journal
Right.
CV or cover letter.
Right.
Wherein, okay, if the uh, hiring manager reads it,
Mhm.
then he's like, okay, this might be applied to some other organization.
Right.
Kind
So,
of sent
yeah,
to me by
it's
mistake.
just a generic email that he's
Yes.
sending to almost everybody.
Exactly.
Right. Got it. Okay.
That's the important aspect. That's
Sure.
the first thing.
So the CV and the cover letter. CV could be general with relevant keywords that he has mentioned. Cover letter has to be specific to that very specific job. Nothing generalized is going to work. And Gaurav, since we're talking about CVs,
Mhm.
I always talk about to make a CV which is very, very like normal looking. Do not put your photographs. Do not put
Yeah.
a lot of color combinations onto it. Simple black and white normal CV. Name, contact number, skill set, your experience, education, contact details. That's all, right?
Yeah, I think that's the right way to do it. So the thing is that imagine your CV when it's printed in grayscale.
Uh-huh.
So if you put your picture, which would obviously be colored,
Right.
I don't know how would you look in that. So
Yeah.
go
This is-
go with the neutral tones
yeah.
because it's gonna be printed in black and white, and
Right.
everything happens on paper here.
Sure. Okay. So this is good to know, guys. Do not put your photographs. And this is, I think this came from the hostess mouth, and this is a very valid reason that why should you not do that? I told you in a number of videos that do not put your photographs, that would automatically disqualify. Now you know it why. Everything works on paper, a little bit on traditional form,
Yeah.
black and white, and if you put a photograph and things like that, that is just unnecessary creating the hurdle. So one part is the CV and the cover letter.
Yeah.
So if you're given a CV and cover letter, then how did the process flow
Okay, so
in your case?
so process is a little different here. So unlike India, so in India you can apply to any organization. Just send in your CV on the careers email, and we assume that it's in the database and it will be picked up whenever required. Here it's not the case. If there is a job opening, you have to send in your CV to that particular job opening. Otherwise, your CV is not going to be picked up. It's just lying there in the dump. It has to match to a particular job opening. As simple as that. It cannot be like, okay, so let's send the resume. If they feel like they will run their database,
Okay.
that thought process doesn't work.
Important to note. And do you apply through LinkedIn directly, or you get the hiring manager's contact details and then contact them through
No,
the email?
so what I particularly focused on was LinkedIn. So LinkedIn
Okay.
is very important here. So how your profile is, whether you are endorsed by anyone, or things like that is
All
very
right.
important. So before I jump into that, one last thing in the CV side, it's very important to highlight if you have done things which is out of your work.
Okay.
It doesn't create any importance in India, but here it is very relevant. So it talks about that. Okay, you have extracurricular things that
Sure.
that you do,
Uh-huh.
that you are kind of invested in the community. You do things like that.
Right.
You have additional profiles, things attached to your profile, so
Okay.
that makes your case stronger.
Okay. Because I think he made a very important point, and the reason behind that is, your interpersonal skills and how you would overall fit into that organizational culture is way more important here in Canada than you must have faced in your home country. Which is why, yeah, sure, you can do the job, but will you be able to stay longer in that organization? Because then you will be fitting well with the with the rest of the people. I think that part is very important.
Yeah, so that's kind of where in your in-person interviews jump in.
Okay.
So we were talking about how we search. So then
Sure.
I'll jump
Yeah,
into
sure.
that. So I kind of focus myself on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
So every job opening that happen in any XYZ channel comes to LinkedIn for sure.
Okay.
And with what happens on LinkedIn is then you can see the company profile. You can see things like that, and then you can read about okay, how the company is doing and all those things. So I focus on LinkedIn primarily, like 80%, 80% overall.
Okay.
And here a lot of jobs are you can apply directly through your profile using LinkedIn.
Okay.
So you don't have to personalize things.
Okay.
For every single profile.
Okay.
Every single opening. So
sure.
that's where it helps.
Okay.
So I did that a lot, and I kind of if over a period of 3 months, I think I applied to around 20-25
Okay.
organizations which fit my profile.
Okay.
And eventually, if I'm going what numbers, so go down to roughly around 6 or 7, wherein I started the process.
Okay.
Landed offer letter in 3, joined the one that was best. So that happened in 3 months. So kind of it works if it done right. So,
Right. So, guys, if you can, just pay a little bit more attention to the chronology. 2025 job applications in 3 months is a lot less what normal people would do,
Yeah.
which means that he was focused. That's number one. Secondly, out of those 2025, one fourth he gone to till the second or third round or maybe final round. So 6 or 7, right? And then he has received offer letter from 3, which means that really the hit ratio was very, very high. And along with your own skill set, along with whatever you have brought to the table, which is obviously you and your skill set, I think the approach that you have taken have helped you in succeeding to getting your first job within that short period of time, like very
Yeah.
focused and
Yeah,
specific
absolutely.
approach.
Absolutely. See, the thing was, I was not kind of running post to pillar.
Right.
So if you do that, let's say you take a job, which
Mm.
is, let's say, 8 hours, then you lose 8 hours.
Mhm.
Then when you will apply, when you will redo your resume,
Right.
because daily you have to sit for a couple
Right.
of hours, redo your resume, redo your cover letters.
Sure.
So then you don't get to do that. So that means you're applying in a generic way, wherein you might land jobs, but then those would be low profile jobs, or
Got it.
as in lower in hierarchy.
Right.
But if you stay focused, you kind of build your resume as per the opening that you're going for.
Got it.
Changes everything.
Got it. Which is exactly why, guys, proof of funds is so very important here in Canada. You have to have certain kind of money sitting in your bank account, and very frankly speaking, you will really drain out of this money within the first few months. But that is a part of this overall process. He was specific in his approach. He had savings, a little bit of savings in the bank account, which he had used, but that is sort of your investment that you are putting in to get a higher return that he did. So I think, Gaurav, till this point in time, I think we are good, and we have understood the approach and the way it worked. Another thing that I would like to bring about at this point in time is the mindset, right? And I think this is very specific to, and I will be very specific to here for the people that are coming from India, because they are at already at a very high paid job in India,
Yeah.
right? So 9 out of 10 times people would tell me that, well, I am getting 25 lakhs in India, 30 lakhs in India. Is it really worth to like leave everything and then land at a job which may be which may pay me nothing in the initial days, which obviously was not the case in your case, but I'm assuming that not everybody will get a higher salary on the first day. So do you think it's really worth? I know it's a personal question.
No, yeah, it's like, see, it eventually is like what kind of environment you want to live in.
Right.
It's more or less on the environment, on overall, apart from the job.
Right.
And the environment fits into the job as well. So the work culture here is so different. There is no comparison.
Right.
As simple as that.
Right.
So if you feel like 25 lakhs is good enough, and then you can kind of go through the daily pain,
Right.
yeah, it's fine for you.
Yeah.
If you think that there is much better out there,
Yeah.
with the same 25 lakhs,
Yeah.
yeah, then you should jump.
Right.
You should move.
What kind of mindset, Gaurav, you think, or if you were to name a couple of attributes that somebody should have and must have, if they want to make it big in Canada, right? Like,
Yeah, I think one is they need to be a little patient. So that's the only thing that we don't have anymore.
right, in our
As
blood,
in,
right? Yeah.
Patience is something that's not taught. So that's one.
Yeah.
And I've realized that if you have patience, you kind of grow in an organization here, and you kind of go to very high levels.
Because you're there in that same organization for now 5 years now, right? Like four
Yeah.
plus years now.
4+, going to 5 in couple
Going
of
to
months.
5 in a couple of months. Yes.
So kind of changes everything. So
Right.
patience is one,
Mhm.
and patience in job search, patience because in the interview process as well. So
Right.
interview processes here is long.
Important to note. Make a note. Interview process is a very long here as compared to you might have faced in your home country. Yeah.
It's more or less, I think, 4 to 6 weeks is normal.
Okay.
Sometimes it takes 8 weeks.
Oh wow.
For me, it was 6 weeks of process.
Okay.
So that means I started the process at around month and a half when I was here.
Mm-hmm.
Process was over 3 months,
Okay.
and then after that, joining date was again a month later.
Wow.
So that's how the process is. You have to be
Right.
patient. So in that case, you cannot go back to HR again and again. Okay,
What is
what's
update?
happening? What's happening?
What's the update? Yeah.
If you do that, then there is no update for you.
There is no update for you, and there will never ever be any update for you.
Exactly.
Right?
So
Number one thing is patience. Very important. Any other thing that you could think of?
I think the thing is stick to what you are good at.
Okay.
We are again not good at that.
Yeah.
So we want to say everything. Yes, I can do that. Yes, I can do that.
Very important point. Yes.
Don't do that. Don't do that. There's no person who can do everything. So
Yeah.
just stick to, okay, this is what I can do, and this is what I can do good.
Do good. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what they want to know. What you can do good. They
Okay.
don't want to know, okay, what all you can do. It's very different from what it's in India. In India, hiring manager wants to know what all things you can do.
Yeah.
But here, they want to know what you can do good.
Oh.
So it's very different.
Right.
So that's another key thing that you
Sure.
need to stick to when it comes to looking for a job. Third thing that I would say is, uh, uh, and this is kind of more from a personal experience, and this is how I approach things, is that you need to ensure that when you are going to something, you have that attention to detail.
Okay.
So when I say attention to detail, if I'm going in a company for an interview, I would like to know everything about that company.
Research.
Research,
Right.
more or less. And some people do research that is at a kind of superficial level. Okay,
Uh,
read enough. This is good.
Good.
But I
Uh-huh.
go into a little more detail. Okay,
Sure.
What's the background? And for me, it was digital. So I was like, okay, digital. What's their background?
Okay.
How they have done in the digital in the past.
Okay.
So I went to that level of detail.
Sure.
and that helped actually.
Okay.
So another point that kind of I like to raise is many companies hire external consultants to get a new person in.
Okay.
Specifically, if the profile is very technical in nature,
Okay.
wherein there is no internal expert.
Okay.
So you need to stick to your guns. Don't move around. Tell what you know. Tell what you don't know, and that's where in attention to detail. Okay.
Okay.
What's the history of? So let's say LinkedIn. So if you're applying for a job and you go to LinkedIn and then you can see what all profiles are in there that are already working.
Right.
So you know they have investment in this particular team structure.
Sure.
So what you're gonna talk about is you specifically and not everything that the team does.
Okay.
Because they have experts to do that.
Okay. Got it.
So it's about that detail wherein okay, what they have and what you can add on to that is very important as well.
Very. I think this point is sort of extremely important to know that research well and research well in a manner that is being appreciated and that is
Yeah.
how they want to see you to be doing.
Yeah.
Right. So I think these points should help you to focus your search in a different way, to change your mindset maybe, and think about the fact that you can still do it if you are doing things in a right way rather than jumping like all around the place, right?
Exactly.
So I think these things would help. Last couple of minutes, Gaurav, I would like to understand another very important aspect that almost everybody is curious of. Well, I do not have a legal status in Canada. I am still in my home country. It could be India, it could be any other place. Can I still get a job while sitting in my home country, or do I need to be in Canada to get that? I mean, to make that happen.
See, my answer to that is no, you cannot.
Okay.
Don't fool yourself. Don't let others fool you.
Okay.
You can. Everyone says, okay, I'm doing this. You will go through the process. Eventually, it will come to a point wherein you are not here, so you're not eligible for the job. As simple as that.
Correct.
Because in-person interviews might happen, and in that case, you won't be there.
Sure.
That's one. Second thing is, if many people do is they get a Canadian number, right?
Correct.
So when you get a Canadian number, that's the first step of fooling an employer.
Mm.
So
It's not the right thing to do, maybe, right?
It's not.
Yeah.
So first thing is come here as early as you can. So the moment you have your visa stamped, come.
Right.
So because it's a journey, you have to start at any point of time. Right.
Right.
The earlier you start,
Earlier the better. Makes
earlier
sense.
the
Fair
better.
enough. 100%.
So do not search jobs from there. It doesn't help at all. Do not go through the process or headaches of going through interviews and everything. It is of no use.
Got it. Or for example, Gaurav, if somebody doesn't want to go for PR, okay, somebody doesn't is not inclined to get a PR or may not qualify for PR, do you think it's a good idea to get a visitor visa and maybe come to Canada, explore the country a little bit, talk to the employers and see if at all he could get a job here in Canada and then eventually apply that job offer into something and then get his PR or get a work permit, things like that? Does that work?
That can be tried, but then the only case is yes, that's a good way to try it. The only case is that whenever a Canadian employer hires someone that is outside of Canada, that employer has to go through a lot of legal processes.
Lot of legal processes. Yeah.
Why they are not hiring a Canadian?
Correct. That LMIA game that comes into
Yes.
picture, right?
So
Mhm.
the important aspect here is if that employer is okay to do
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
yes, you can get it.
Yeah.
But it's a kind of, I'll say, twisted road to.
Okay. Right. Got it. I think this pretty much sums up, what we wanted to discuss in this session. Uh, Lastly, last part, I would want to know: do you really pay anybody to get a job in Canada? If somebody tells you pay me like $50,000,
No.
guaranteed job, guaranteed visa,
No.
never ever, right?
There's nothing like
Make
that.
a note of it.
That doesn't exist.
That doesn't exist in this country,
The
right?
only thing is you will lose your money, and then
And
you'll
somebody
still
will
be-
make extra money out of it, will buy a real estate or something like that, or maybe a good car.
and there is no job for you in that case. Yeah.
That is
So
no
the thing is that doesn't work.
Yeah.
That is something that doesn't exist. As in the Canadian system, it's a very foolproof, transparent system.
And I think it's highly illegal to pay money to get a job offer here in Canada, right? If you're caught, then the repercussions could be dangerous.
Yeah. So the thing is that now we are talking about it's a little bit on the legal side here.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is that if anyone is doing that, then a single report of that can kind of damage your profile.
Right.
that person is kind of may still get out of the system because that person is used to the system, but
Mhm.
damage your profile. And
Yeah.
once your profile is damaged, then it stays.
Right.
So the problem is much more for you as an applicant than someone who is kind of offering these kind of things.
I think this is very important. Sometimes people think that, well, I can pay money at the max, I will lose the money, right? Because I'm outside the country. Uh, so I do not have to go through the legal hassle. But what he had pointed out, I think is super important, is that it damages your profile forever. And we are a country that keeps a track of everything, right? We
Yep.
have a very solid tracking mechanism. So if something is wrong in your profile, that is going to stay to your profile forever.
And
Um,
I think you might touch upon wherein if in case you have something wherein in your profile it's flagged
yeah.
and you are okay, you got PR somehow
Yeah.
or the other,
Yeah.
but then at citizenship when
Yeah.
you are applying for citizenship,
Yeah.
that gets flagged,
Right.
then your PR can be cancelled at a later date as well.
As well, this is very important because as a PR, what you have to understand is that you're still a citizen of another country, but your long term dream or goal is to gain a Canadian citizenship. Once you apply for that, then the government will not grant citizenship to somebody with some kind of flagging in their names, right?
Yep.
And flagging against their name.
Exactly.
So end of the story is, do not ever pay money to anybody that says that, guaranteed job offer, guaranteed visas, and all those things to
Exactly.
Canada. Those do not work.
That don't exist. Yeah.
Any final tips, Gaurav, for anybody that wants to take this venture?
Yeah, so like I'll just touch upon like what happens on 101
Sure,
interviews.
I think
So
that helps. Yep.
yeah, that's one thing
Yeah.
that I missed. So see, more or less, what employers are looking for is whether you fit in their culture. The way they ask you questions about how you would do things, how you do things, how would you tackle a particular incident or things like that. So these are all scenario based questions. So
Hmm.
they are testing you whether you fit in their organization. These things are more important than you knowing your job.
Right.
If you're not good at this,
Mm.
if you don't fit the profile, doesn't matter how good you are not going to get that job. So having that attitude wherein okay you are willing to adapt to a culture is much more important than having an expertise. Okay, I can do
Mm.
this. Yeah, job is mine. No, it doesn't work that way.
So
You
interpersonal skill, like brushing up interpersonal skills along with something else
it's
also.
more or less the interpersonal is one.
Okay.
Yes, for sure. It's
Mm.
a sub part of the
Sure.
overall scenario that I'm talking about. It's all about your adaptability.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot be stringent. Okay, because culture is, and when the culture is different, things change. You have to adapt to the culture. So everyone knows you're coming from different country, you're coming from different culture. What they're looking for is, can you leave your culture behind and follow the Canadian culture?
This is very important.
So that's a thing that they look for, and that's a thing that you have to pass. They might ignore, okay, you don't know something, you can learn about it.
Mm-hmm.
And the companies here, they are willing to spend money to teach you things, to give you courses, to give you training. That happens every single year, but they cannot teach you how to adapt to a culture. So
Right.
that is what is more important than you knowing your job.
I think this is something, is the one of the most valuable points that you have mentioned, is the adaptability factor, and this cannot really come overnight, right? This
Yeah.
is a practice, this is a conscious practice that you have to go through. In my opinion, we have all gone through, right?
Yeah,
We have all
exactly.
came from different countries, and so we have all gone through. So I think this is super important for all of you to understand. I think this interview, Gaurav, really helped a lot of the viewers that are watching this and would
Absolutely.
potentially watch this, to change their mindset and to do things differently. I think this is very important because you cannot change your skills. You
Yep.
may upgrade your skills. If you are a digital creator,
Yep.
you cannot be anything else in the future, but
Exactly.
it could still better your adaptability factor, may work on your communication skill, may work on your interpersonal skills,
Yep.
and do things in a more focused manner to make things happen for you,
Yep.
right? And
Do we have
lastly,
more time? Couple of things I want to touch upon.
absolutely, go on.
Okay,
Yeah.
so one is okay. This is specific from people from India.
Hmm.
So we talk English. When we talk in English, we talk very fast.
Oh, this is important. Yes.
Okay, change that.
Hmm.
You have to be slow. People don't. One is the accent. It's very different. Second thing is you cannot rush through words. That is not confidence boosting that you know English.
Right.
that is deteriorating to your profile, that okay, this guy is nervous, that's why he's rushing through things.
Very true.
So you have to be patient when you speak. That's one.
Mm.
Second thing is, again, coming back to the adaptability bit.
Sure.
So what usually happens there is that uh, adaptability comes in a different form as well.
Sure.
See, we talked about earning couple of lakhs, right?
Right.
So everyone in India is a director or a VP or something like that. Eventually, people realize, okay, I have to move to Canada when they reach that level.
Right.
Which is, I don't know why.
Yeah.
But that happens.
Sure.
So you have to be open to come here and work as a team member.
Mm.
Designations are not thrown like this in Canada. There might be only one VP in the entire company, and that VP might be 50 or 60 years old.
Exactly. Exactly.
So you have to be a manager.
Mm.
Don't look at the tag, look at the salary that it comes with, look at the kind of living that it comes with. I personally was heading a team of 50 members in India, and I'm still a team member here.
That's the difference.
Okay, so you have to be open to that. If I'm looking for a team of 50,
yeah,
I don't know, I should come here and when I'm 65 or something.
Exactly.
Because before that, that's not going to happen. So adaptability on that manner, where okay, I'm leading a team, so and why should I be a team member? That is very important.
Changing that mindset.
Yeah.
Yes, you cannot be a VP, director, or whatever from day one. But I'm sure, Gaurav, being a team member is more gratifying feeling here in Canada than leading a team member, like a team of 50 in India, right? From every possible way.
For sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Every
see,
possible
see
way.
The way it works is, and everyone who has come here and joined an organization, and when guys, whoever is watching, when you guys will come and join, you will feel the difference.
Yeah.
Managers here are here kind of help you, equip you to do work. They are not there to challenge you on doing more. They are here to challenge you on doing right. And the way it's set up is it's set up for success, as in, can you do this? What all you need to do this?
Oh, this is
It's
very
not-
important.
It's
Okay.
not the other way around. Do this. I don't care how you do it. It's not that way. So they equip you to do it. So if you say you don't have the right skill set or everything, then they help you in getting that skill set. So all those things kind of work in a very different way and the way we are used to in India. So be open, and then you have to be kind of okay. I can do this. I can't do this. Learn to say no. We as Indians don't know that.
Yep.
No doesn't exist in our
Yeah.
work-
We want to
work-
be yes to
work
everything.
routine.
Yeah. If you
So
say no, then you are like automatically
then you are like,
disqualified.
okay, yeah.
Just go back home.
So,
Thanks. Here it's not the case.
no is appreciated here.
Yeah. Because you cannot be a jack of all trades, right?
Exactly.
You cannot be a jack of all trades. Uh, any other points that you would like to bring forward?
I think I've covered everything.
Yeah, I
Just
think you did, yeah.
In case anything is required in detail, yeah, we can sit and chat.
Yeah,
about
chat
it,
again.
But everything over the entire journey, I've kind of.
Yeah, exactly, you did. And I think after talking to you for this 32 minutes and 47 seconds, people have realized that why did it work for you is the right attitude, right mindset, right skill set, along with so many different things, right?
Exactly.
In this case, we are focusing on you as an example. So you left everything behind.
Yeah.
A team of 50. You started here with no job, and then within the first couple of months, you got something that you only dreamed of getting.
Exactly.
So that's the attitude. That's the mindset. And probably Canada is a country that could make it happen. Or Canada is one of the fewest countries in the world where this kind of dream could be resulted into a real possibility.
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
So
And
like whatever you can do is so there is no limit to
there is no limit to it, and there is nobody to like there is nobody to hinder your progress, right? You do your own stuff.
Exactly. So once you're in, you kind of realize, okay, everyone is there to help you.
Yeah.
When I say everyone up the hierarchy.
Everyone of the hierarchy, yes. Quite unlike that we are used to be habituated in back home.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. All right, Gaurav, thank you very much
problem,
for your
anytime.
time this Sunday morning. Yes, absolutely. It's a pleasure to talking to you. I think this is extremely helpful. And now after listening to this, a lot of them could be, able to channelize their energy in the right direction.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'll leave it there. Enjoy your Sunday. Have a great day, great evening, whichever part of the world you're watching this video from. If you need professional assistance, drop me a line, contact@nuvonation.ca. Shall be glad to connect. Thank you and have a great weekend, guys. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye, Gaurav. Thank you.
Thank you.